Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of Vanderpump Rules Season 8, Episode 4. Don't do it, Brittany. This episode opens with a montage of everybody packing for Miami. We check in with Stassi and Beau. They're chatting about how Kristen is moving into her house without Carter. And Stassi's so happy that maybe she'll never have to see Carter again. You may want to hold off on that party, Stassi. Now we cut to Kristen and the moving van is there and they're bringing boxes into her house. And Ariana comes over. I don't know why, to pretend she's helping her move in. I don't know. But Ariana sees a box that says Carter Important on it. And she's like, is Carter moving in here too? And Kristen goes, no, it's just my house. But I mean, like, I will see him, obviously. But that just got delivered here by mistake. And then she reveals that they just had sex that morning. In Ariana's confessional, she said, Kristen is like living between two worlds. She says she's broken up with Carter, yet they're having sex all the time, and he's having his things shipped to her house. Ariana changes the subject to Miami, and Kristen asked her, how did things go with Stassi and Sandoval? Ariana tells her that Stassi screamed at him like an out-of-tune Mariah Carey. She's like, literally, it was just whistle tones. I was happy to see Kristen stick up for Stassi, though, because she said Sandoval's texts were really aggressive. I mean, who does he think he is? Ariana, the owner of Tom Tom. And that's the problem. Tom might have a bit of an ego problem, because the owner of Tom Tom, that would be Lisa Vanderpump. He owns 6%. Or he's splitting 6% with Tom Schwartz, which means he owns 3%. Next, we are at Tom Tom, and Lisa Vanderpump walks in to talk to Max about what went down that night between Sandoval and Stassi. Why are you asking Max? Now that I think about it, maybe everybody is on the plane to Miami at this point. I'm not sure what the timeline is here. Anyway, Max claims to Lisa that he doesn't really know what's going on. All he knows is that Stassi started screaming at Sandoval there at Tom Tom in front of customers. And Lisa's like, oh, but why would she do that at her own party? And Max is like, well, because of Sandoval's rage text. Lisa, what? So he explains it to her. He goes, I haven't seen it. Tom said he was going to send it to me, but he didn't. And he claims to not know what it said, although Lisa, even in her confessional, said that Max is a terrible liar. Next, everybody arrives in Miami, and Brittany tells them all what the game plan is. First, everyone's going to go to their rooms and rest for a while, and then the girls are going to get into their tacky wedding dresses, and then they're going to split off from the boys. But before everyone goes up to their rooms, Sandoval pulls Stassi aside, and he said, I want to apologize to you. And she's like, okay. She's very cautious about this apology. And I think she could have accepted it a little better than she did, but she's still really pissed off. That's the problem. The other problem is that his apology, that's not the best either. He apologizes for the text, which he agrees was wrong and he never should have sent it, and it was very strongly worded and he was wrong. And then he said, but just so you know, we never do this, like have a party with a 5-day turnaround. He's like, you don't understand. I couldn't sleep. And she goes, I told Max about it. And he goes, well, Max doesn't book the parties. And I told Schwartz about it. Schwartz doesn't book parties. Stassi goes, okay, so next time I'll call you. And he said, thank you. So they part ways at this point, but it didn't go well. Now everyone goes to their rooms, and of course they're gorgeous. I love it. It's kind of a glam, Art Deco-ish in a way. They're really cool. And of course, Sandoval has a costume for the guys. Yeah, he wants like a Brat Pack kind of thing. He wants them all to wear black shirts and bow ties and mustaches. And the only one doing it is going to be Sandoval. Oh, maybe he'll get Schwartz to do it. Jax will not be wearing a fake mustache. He shows Ariana and she's like, yeah, I don't think anyone else is going to want to dress like a creep tonight. In Stassi and Beau's room, Beau asks Stassi, what did Sandoval say to you? He said, I saw him go over to you, but I didn't want to interrupt. Was he apologizing? And she's like, yeah. But then he wanted to explain why he did what he did. Beau, what possibly could be his reasoning for texting my girlfriend at 2:30 in the morning with some nasty-ass message? And Stassi's like, I know. I felt like I didn't even want to go to my own book signing after that text. The only reason I had it there is because it was my friend's bar. If I knew it was going to be this problem, I would have had it at a TGI Fridays or someplace that has better ranch. Then Stassi tells Beau that when they were at the airport, they were in one of the bookstores and she saw her book, but it was like way in the back and there was another book on display. So she switched them and put her book in the front. And Katie heard Ariana telling Sandoval, yeah, I was in that bookstore for 45 minutes. I didn't see her book. Implying, I guess, that Stassi brought a copy of her own book to plant in the store. I mean, what would even be the point of that? She wouldn't get money from it. There would be no other books for someone to buy. It's just, that makes no sense. Anyway, she was kind of hurt because she goes, I thought Ariana and I were good before that happened. Okay, so next we have a scene where Lisa Vanderpump is FaceTiming Schwartz and Stassi and Sandoval. Not all at the same time, but just trying to get to the bottom of this story. And we hear each of their versions. At one point, Lisa asks Schwartz, so do you think Tom is at fault? And he said, well, I do think Tom kind of went off the deep end there. So basically, yeah. In the end, Lisa tells him that, you know, their friendship is more important than any single event. And I don't know what the whole point of it was. But in general, I think she would just like them all to behave in a more professional manner. So good luck with that. Okay, now the Bachelor and Bachelorette parties are in full swing. I won't be able to show you any pictures of the Bachelor Party without getting demonetized. So just trust me when I tell you that it's pretty typical strip club stuff. At one point, Beau asks Sandoval if they can talk before they get too drunk. And Sandoval's like, yeah, of course. So they go outside. Sandoval is telling Beau that Schwartz can't book a party. If you ask me, it was a lot of throwing Schwartz under the bus as basically just being the face of Tom Tom and not knowing how to do anything. Now, that might be true, but I don't think it's cool that you said it behind his back like that. You know, just that he's your friend, and that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Beau was trying to make the point that Stassi's a little bit closer to Schwartz, and she told him about it, and you guys are equal. So why was it such a problem? And that's why Sandoval was really trying to point out how he and Tom Schwartz are not equal. They might own an equal portion of the restaurant, but what they do and what they know is far from equal. Sandoval goes, listen, I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm going to tell you something. Schwartz is like a yes man. Listen, Sandoval kind of has a point. Like he said, I was up all night. I couldn't sleep because I get a last minute call from Max saying that these two bartenders dropped out at the last minute. So I'm the one who can't sleep, and I'm thinking to myself, would Stassi be up having a sleepless night for a party for me? And I think he just got himself all riled up thinking about that, and that's what prompted the 2:30 a.m. text. And now he's kind of yelling at Beau, and he's like, and then she screamed at me in front of customers. And Beau's like, yeah, well, I mean, they were her friends. Sandoval goes, no, they were Tom Tom customers. And he's like, no, they were Stassi's customers. And finally, Beau's like, all right, well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. And I needed to say something. So they kind of just both go back inside. Next, we are at SUR, and Lisa Vanderpump walks in to see how things are going. She says hello to Charli, and she asks her if she's still in training. And Charli said it's her last day of training, but that she's starting to handle some tables on her own. Why do I feel like Charli is going to need a longer training period than most? Then she talks to Brett briefly, and then she talks to Dayna. And she asks Dayna, how's it going over here? Because remember, Dayna was the hostess at Tom Tom, but Lisa wanted her at Sir because she was doing so well. So she asked her how the transition is, and Dayna's like, it's been a little bit challenging with some of the people here. And Lisa's like, what do you mean? She said, I feel like some people aren't very welcoming to me, and Lisa wants names. Dayna doesn't want to give names, and Lisa's like, oh, come on, I've heard it all before. True. So she says it's Scheana. Dayna tells her that she thinks it's because of personal issues. Of course, Lisa wants to know what the personal issues are. And Dayna tells her that she's hanging out with Max. Lisa tells her to just work hard and tell her that she's here to stay. Oh, yeah. Scheana will take that well. In her confessional, Lisa does say that she's very surprised that it's Scheana that's behaving that way because Scheana was on the receiving end of that with Stassi. So I would think she would know what it would feel like. Yeah, that's the point. She does know what it feels like, and that's why she's doing it to Dayna. Okay, guys, this next part is kind of unprecedented for a reality show, I think, but I think I might be here for it. It really is kind of blurring the lines of a scripted show and a reality show in a way. Because what happens next is we get a scene of all the girls sitting around a table in their wedding dresses, and Brittany upset and almost crying, saying, y'all supposed to be here for my wedding to celebrate my and Jax's love for each other. That's what this whole thing is supposed to be about. Now, everyone's quiet and not saying a word. Now the music slows down and it's a freeze frame on Stassi, and you hear her voiceover. Okay, so you're probably wondering how we ended up here. Now we cut to her live in her confessional, and she says, let's start from the beginning. Then we get the video rewinding fast, and the girls are dancing and having fun at the club. And we're seeing this whole scene, but it's with Stassi's narration still. You get what I mean? It's weirdly not like a reality show anymore in a way. But I'm not mad at it. I think it's still entertaining to me, and it's kind of different and unexpected. And you know how we already question how real this reality show is anyway? So I think I'm okay with it. Anyway, like I said, Stassi's narrating, and she goes, so we started the night off at shh. But Brittany didn't want to call it a night, so then we all went to another club. At this other place, the VIP staff came out with these signs, and they had a big sign that said, don't do it, Brittany. So Stassi says, at first, Brittany was laughing at it like everybody else was. She didn't have a problem with it at all until Kristen got in her ear and said, that is so rude. I can't believe they would do that. Okay, first of all, what on earth would this club at Miami have against Brittany? I mean, if we're all just going to think about this logically for a minute, Kristen and Brittany, that would make no sense. But of course, alcohol is involved, and probably more than just a little. So Brittany ran with that and got very, very upset. She didn't appreciate the sign. She took it very personally because, Jax and I had a lot to overcome. Yes, his infidelity. But we're going to make it work, and I just think that was so wrong of them. Okay. So the girls with common sense and cooler heads were trying to explain to her that they don't know you, Brittany. They probably do that for everybody. It's just a joke, like when a girl is about to get married and it's her bachelorette party. The joke is, oh no, turn back, don't do it. It's not personal. And Lala was trying to tell her that, and Stassi was trying to tell her that. Katie said it's probably standard at all the bachelorette parties. It's just a funny sign. Again, Brittany's probably drunk, but she just cannot see past her hurt. And Kristen's not done being on her side. While Lala is saying, I understand you're hurt by it, and I'm sorry for that, but I don't think that's what they meant. Kristen, well, can't you just understand that she's hurt by it, even if that wasn't what they meant? And Lala's like, oh my God, I literally just said that 20 seconds earlier. So Kristen's being nuts. And anyway, just as Brittany is saying that Jax is going to be her boo for the next 100 years, Jax walks in with 2 big pizza boxes. And they're like, oh, Jax, oh, it was so nice. And he's like, here, girls. And he puts them down on the table. It's their leftovers. Yeah. It's the leftovers from the guys. So it's like chunks of cold pizza from different pizza boxes, like put in one. There are some like leftover chicken wing bones. It's disgusting. I don't know. It's unbelievable and pretty typically Jax all in one. Alrighty, now it is the next morning. People are just starting to wake up, brush their teeth. Some people are still sleeping. And in Jax and Brittany's room, Brittany's up, she's sitting in bed, and Jax is still just like out of it. And she's like, oh my God, are you still drunk? And he's like, it was bad last night. Babe, I can't do strip clubs anymore. I can't get into it. Bravo editors to the rescue. We immediately cut to a flashback of Jax motorboating some topless girl. He just can't get into it. Then he says to Brittany, I'm the only guy that didn't have a girl near him. Flashback to a girl spread eagle laying on top of Jax with another girl standing right next to him. Then he says, every time a girl came near me, I was like, oh. Flashback to Jax the night before telling Sandoval, swear to God, man, I am going to leave Brittany for one of these girls. Dude. Like, what is going on with you? Why even say these things when you know that the Bravo cameras followed you all night? Like, are you that dense, or do you just think it's funny? I'm trying to really seriously, I'm just trying to figure it out. Is it for the comedic effect? I don't know. Anyway, now everybody is getting ready for the boat ride that Sandoval has arranged as, one of the best men. They're on the boat and, everyone's drinking, dancing, twerking, having fun. All the girls have one-piece bathing suits that say Bride Squad, and Brittany says Bride to Be. Lala and Scheana are talking, and Lala asks her, how are things going at SUR? And she's like, oh, you mean like with training all the new people? It's okay. But like this girl, Dayna, I'm just like not really jiving with her. And Lala's like, well, how come? And she goes like, okay, so for example, like she never wears a bra and her nips are always out. And Lala goes, oh, you mean like me? So Scheana, of course, is caught. And she goes, no, like, because yours are like cute fake little tits. Lala, oh, so you're just mad at her tits then? Come on, Scheana. Nobody is buying this. Nobody is buying that you aren't bothered at all by the fact that Max seems to be interested in this girl. I wish I could reach into the TV and tell Scheana what the future holds. You are going to end up with this super hot Australian Jason Momoa, and Max is going to turn out to be a racist piece of crap. So you might want to be nicer to Dayna. Kristen and Lala now have a little talk because, things got a little heated the night before when Brittany was upset with the sign. Kristen apologizes to Lala. She accepts her apology. They end up talking about Carter, and she tells her, I don't know why, but she tells Lala that she had sex with him and that she's going to be seeing him again because some of his boxes accidentally got delivered to the house. I do not think that was an accident. Oh, actually, she tells us now in her confessional that it was a box of sex toys. And she's like, yeah, I mean, it happens sometimes. You leave a box of dildos somewhere and... Okay, side note, why are a box of dildos Carter's sex toys? Just curious. Now Sandoval and Jax are having a little moment on the boat. Jax is telling Sandoval that he's having a great time, because Sandoval arranged all this. So Sandoval's like, oh, I'm glad you're having fun. Jax is like, yeah, oh yeah, everything's perfect. Then we cut to Jax's confessional, where he's dissing the boat for not being big enough. He compares it to a booze cruise that he went on in high school. Who goes on a booze cruise in high school? And Jax just had a scene earlier with his sister where he talked about how he screwed over half the people on this boat, yet they still came out for him and they're still his friends, and how lucky he is for that. What happened to that conversation? Now Ariana pulls Stassi aside to have a little talk. And she tells her that, ever since the airport, I saw you guys were all giving me dirty looks. And Stassi's like, well, yeah, because you acted like I brought my own book to the airport bookstore and planted it there. And Ariana is pretty much backpedaling. I don't know if she's telling the truth now or if she's just really trying to get out of shady behavior earlier. But she's like, no, I didn't think you brought your own book. I was just wondering if you were going to say anything about putting your book in the front. Okay. Anyway, in Stassi's confessional, she said, I always thought Ariana was a strong, independent woman who supported other people's successes. I mean, I'm not like that, but I always thought Ariana was. Okay, now it's that evening, and all the girls are going out to some restaurant, and I'm not sure what the boys are going to do, but then later they are all going to a strip club together. Although I think somebody said that the girls get to go there first before the guys can show up. So I don't know what that's all about. But right now they are at a restaurant. And Stassi and Katie are talking about the, Stassi and Sandoval thing. And Stassi tells Katie that Ariana is basically blaming Schwartz for the whole thing. So Katie, Stassi is right here on the right side of Katie. So Katie's like, okay. And she turns, and on the left is Ariana. And she immediately confronts her. Ariana, again, backpedaling a little bit. Katie said, did you say that Tom Schwartz was the problem? And Ariana is trying to explain that, well, I just said that Tom didn't follow protocol. There are a lot of steps that need to be taken to book a party, and Tom didn't do any of them. Now Kristen comes back to the table. She had been outside on the phone with Carter. Katie asks her who she was talking to, and she said that was Carter. And some of his things, and I guess his photography equipment, got sent to the house. And so she just gave him the house code and the mailbox key and stuff like that. So he's going there now to, pick up her mail and get his things. Oh my God, Kristen. Oh, he's not moving in, but he's got the house code. He has the mailbox key. This is somebody you're breaking up with, right? Anyway, this kind of breaks down into Stassi and Katie against Kristen. And Kristen, probably feeling ganged up on by them, said, I never did this to you guys. I never did this to you when Tom Schwartz was cheating on you all the time. Well, Katie loses it. And that is where this episode ends. Yeah. Katie's just kind of going off on her for saying that he was cheating on her all the time. And yeah. That's pretty much the first day in Miami. We didn't even get to the combined strip club party. So we have that to look forward to next week. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Please give it a like if you did. And if you have not yet done so, please subscribe. And I will see you next week with my next recap of Vanderpump Rules. Bye.